Folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Yeah, it's a little bumpy, noisy, rough. I get it, but it's the way things are. Having our local meeting today, so I'm taking the first load of stuff over there, then come back, get the next load, get the fam, and start our meeting. It's an exciting day for us. It's a very long and physically draining day, but emotionally and intellectually and really spiritually just energizing for us, and I believe everyone that comes there. That's why they keep coming back. Anyways, I wanted to talk to you today about all this stuff that's going on. There is so much stuff every day. It's to the point that it's hard to focus on any one particular thing, because within 24 hours or so, there's something else in the news that's, indicator of the end of the world. It's nigh. It's the collapse is coming. It's just one more piece of the puzzle, right? Something that I want you all to be aware of, and I know that many of you are, but sometimes we have to remind ourselves every once in a while of this. And that's the vast majority of everything that's happening, whether it's controlled or it's just allowed, is really part of, I believe, a bigger plan to just destabilize everything. And I think that all this stuff, when we have these questions of, well, why are they allowing that to be out there in the news? I mean, that is, telling the truth of what's really happening. Why are they allowing that and maybe not this over here? I personally believe that it's because they're allowing certain things to be exposed, to get one side pitted against the other. It's all part of this Marxist theory of separating, dividing people, of destabilizing a country, so that in the end it's just ripe for a complete communist takeover. And of course, the communism that we see today is going to be very different than the old Russian and Chinese communism. It's not the same. I don't think it's going to look anything like Leninism or Mao or anything like that. But nonetheless, it's still has its roots in Marxist theory. It's a neo-communist kind of thing. Anyways, without going into the theories of that, the point is what we're seeing, I believe, is just a continual destabilization of our society. When we see the promotion of all this, destruction to the family. It was another video released or not released, but exposed. I guess there was a restaurant down in Texas doing another drag queen show, very offensive, and there was, of course, children in the place. I can't wrap my head around why someone wants to go to a restaurant, eat a meal, and have some guy in women's underwear dancing around. I don't understand that. I mean, it's one thing if you want to go to the types of bars and clubs that are known to have that kind of thing, but why do you want to see it while you're eating your lunch or your dinner? That's just weird, aside from it being grotesque and just evil. But same thing with this, and I'll tread carefully because it's YouTube, but this Pfizer thing that's going around, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying it's good, but there's just a lot of question as to, well, why is this being allowed to happen? And put it into perspective. According to how many people have viewed the video of that, we're only talking like 7% maybe of the population. I would say that close to 90% of the country probably doesn't even know that it exists. So that's one perspective to look at. But also, it's very possible that they're saying, okay, we're going to allow this to happen so that this group of people just becomes more enraged, and they're against this group of people, and it creates a greater divide. It's just the same thing that we've seen with the racial stuff. This constant, it just seems like almost daily this releasing of these videos of this footage and that footage, Paul Pelosi and the horrible, brutal beating down in Memphis, but they get the people riled up, okay? And while the Antifa but BLM stuff isn't as bad as what it was the last time, it's still happening. A lot of people don't realize that there's been a lot of looting and property destruction in LA because of that. There has been some in Memphis, although it's strange that Memphis seemed to be the one that had some of the least damage. Different places in California, New York City has had some problems. Not on the scale of the George Floyd stuff, but certainly it's feeding into that monster. And we're seeing that really on both sides, where sometimes it's just flat out confusing as to why they're doing one thing and then they do the other. You know, why if the media and the FBI and everything is so controlled by, you know, the left, then why are they, you know, doing all this stuff with the Biden classifieds? You know, why didn't they bury that even more? Well, again, I think it's all part of destabilization. That is really what we're seeing when we see all of this back and forth, and it's not just America, it's global, folks. A lot of people think that this is all about the United States. It's global, because the same arguments that's being had here in the United States are being had all over Europe, Australia, parts of the Asian continent, you know, Japan, places like that. It's happening all over. And we need to always try to put things into perspective as to what we're seeing happen isn't that specific incident. It's everything put together in one big picture, one big piece of the puzzle. And I truly believe the vast majority of it is either pre-planned, or as it happens, it's allowed to kind of get out, so that it just causes more tension, more division. You know, the old divide and conquer, and that is very much a communist ideal. If you really dig into how communism works and how it takes over, it's at first it destabilizes a society. And I'm telling you, if you can't see it, the West is more destabilized right now than they've ever been in its existence. And this, to me, is just a huge red flag that we should be continually preparing and getting ready for a collapse, regardless of how that collapse looks. We don't know. Could it come in the, you know, first with a world war? Could it come first with a financial collapse? Could it come first with some kind of civil war infighting? We don't know. But the fact is that it's happening, and it seems to be happening on an accelerated pace. And we have to keep getting ready for it and not be desensitized by the constant barrage and bombardment of all of these things that are constantly happening. You know, the riots, the protests and stuff. Like I said, the stuff that we're seeing with the Pfizer. It's just ongoing, constantly something that we're seeing happen. And you know, partly what it does is it causes it really messes with our endocrine system and this constant ups and downs in our emotions, and they know that and they play into that. And so along with our physical, mental preparations, our spiritual preparations, there needs to be this kind of psychological preparation to be able to handle this and to be able to have some discernment and kind of dig through the weeds, you know, get through the weeds of it and realize that while it's very possible that it's all real, it's possible that some of it's fake, it's possible that it is and most likely is escalation, but the big thing is that it's all part of this destabilization. It's part of this Hegelian dialect, you know, create a problem so that you can offer a solution. And the problem now is that we are being we're really seeing our nation, our society, our culture destabilize. We're seeing things it's not being held together like it once was. Back 50, 60, 70 years ago, while there were lots of problems, the vast majority of Americans pulled together when it was necessary. The vast majority realized that our similarities were far greater than our differences. And today, it's not like that. It's not like that at all. And so, folks, we have to keep getting ourselves ready, because, like I said, this kind of stuff is happening on a more regular basis, and it seems to be intensifying. And we truly need to be bracing ourselves, because the storm is upon us, and we may not have had the big tsunami hit yet, but the storm is definitely upon us. And we've been talking about this for a few years now, that it's building. And I think it's pretty safe to say that the storm is here. We're just waiting for the worst part of that storm to finally hit. So keep getting yourselves ready and being aware, consciously aware that the things that are happening, good or bad, indifferent, it doesn't matter, are playing into the destabilization of our society, which is really exactly what the communists want to do. That's how they do it. Read your history. They don't come in and say to a healthy environment and say, we've got this new theory, this new political direction, we're going to create a new society. No, they go in and they destabilize the society. They destabilize it to where it's falling apart and it's not working, and everybody hates everybody, and everybody's fighting, and all the systems and the infrastructure are collapsing and falling apart. And they're like, yeah, we've got this solution. We can fix this. This is easy. Here's communism. Of course, it'll be wrapped up in a much different bow this time, like I said. But the point is that is what's happening, and we have to brace ourselves and get ready for that, folks. It's time to get your houses in order, to prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.